Good afternoon. This is not how I envisioned our 28th Hometown Hero and SUMMIT Award ceremony. However, the show must go on, and you have proven over the past months that we are resilient. And when times get tough, the Jackson tourism industry gets tougher. Today, we will celebrate our clients and industry professionals that have pushed through and made tourism happen right here in our capital city. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your commitment to our industry and the city with soul. A special shout out to the dedicated members of the Visit Jackson Board of Directors and our relentless staff. Your support and hard work make me look good every day. We will recover from this global pandemic, and just like brass that goes through the fire, we'll be stronger than ever before. And now, let me introduce that Visit Jackson dynamic duo, our hosts for this afternoon's award ceremony, Kim Lewis, Communications and Destination Development Manager, and Paul Wolf, our Content Marketing Manager. Take it away, team.
Good afternoon and welcome to Visit Jackson's annual Hometown Hero Awards. I'm Kim Lewis and my co-host today is Paul Wolf. Thank you for joining us in the JXN Welcome Center. As you can see, things look a little bit different than they normally do. Different is probably the most polite way to describe 2020. Although it was difficult for our tourism industry partners, Jacksonians are resilient and they found a way to stand up and get the job done. And today's awards will highlight just that.
This is our 28th annual award ceremony, but really it's your award ceremony. The nominations for our Hometown Hero and SUMMIT Awards come from you, the industry peers. We always are excited to see who you think is worthy of the recognition. With that said, let's get started.
Stamp's Superburgers is a longtime staple in the Jackson community. Opened initially as a mom-and-pop grocery store, Stamp's has been open for more than 50 years in an area that many would consider a food desert. Self-described as a no-frills, counter-serve operation, offering an array of hamburgers and fries with an affordable menu, Stamp's is a Jackson favorite. Thank you, Phil Stamps II, and congratulations on being our first Hometown Hero recipient of the day. Rashonda Perryman is the Creative Design Manager at Visit Jackson. During her brief time at Visit Jackson, Shawn has made her mark both inside and outside the office. She's responsible for the creative direction and implementation of all branding and marketing-related projects. Her talent is limitless, and her eye for detail is unmatched. You may most recognize her as the artist behind the bold and colorful Jackson Icons mural, located outside of the Old Capitol Inn. Paul Wolf serves as Visit Jackson's Content Marketing Manager. Since the age of 15, Paul knew he would be a communications professional. From radio to podcasts to print journalism, publishing, and social media, his work has won awards from the State Broadcasters Association and more recently, the State Tourism Association, honoring his dedication to keeping the community informed during 2020. Slow down during the pandemic? No. Paul says it's been nonstop since day one. In 2009, he founded the brand Find It in Fondren to serve Jackson's Fondren neighborhood, a brand he and his wife Sophie still operate today. The next two winners are close industry partners, representing all of Mississippi tourism, including Jackson. We at Visit Jackson get the opportunity to work closely throughout the year with Marlon Ivy and Connie Kosser of Visit Mississippi. Marlon is the Bureau Manager over all 13 Mississippi state-owned welcome centers. From the Delta to the coast, Marlon gets to promote it all. Connie works with international group tours. She shares the uniqueness of Mississippi and the many reasons Jackson is a destination city worldwide. Thank you both for promoting Jackson and supporting the tourism industry on both a state and international level. These next two employees have been described as team players in every sense of the word. When the COVID-19 pandemic caused hotels to close, both employees were laid off. When business began to trickle back in, they were immediately brought back and they did anything and everything that was asked of them. They worked diligently, never complained, and always had a smile to share. Chef Brenda Brown and banquet captain Vincent Woodbury of the Hilton Jackson, we appreciate all that you do. Thank you for being hometown heroes. Our next recipient has been a valuable asset to Visit Jackson and the tourism community for nearly 16 years. Jennifer Chance is our Vice President of Finance and Operations, and somewhere within that title is Human Resources. Jennifer has been implementing new operational changes, researching new tax updates, and COVID-19 related aid packages for our industry partners for the past 12 months. We already kept her busy, but in 2020, we kept her really busy. It takes a special kind of person, one who can sit back and see things not as they are, but how they could be. A person who takes to heart the tasks of making the lives of everyday business owners and citizens a little easier. That's Jordan Hillman. She's cleared red tape and hurdles for permitting and procedures in Jackson and pushed through progressive ordinances aimed at making life during COVID-19 a bit easier. Jordan serves as the City of Jackson's Planning and Development Director, and we appreciate her work. The final two recipients in this category are standout industry partners on their own, but they make an even better team when combined. Becky Baumel and John Moore represent the Westin Jackson. They are both direct and detail-oriented with potential meeting planners, allowing them to focus on their clients' meeting goals. They never waver in their task to provide excellent service, and the Visit Jackson sales team holds them in high regard for their ability to exceed their clients' expectations.
And now for our recipients in the category of meeting planner and group tour planner. For a year with limited meetings and tours, we certainly had a few standout partners. First up is More Than a Tourist, Jane Halpert Jones. Her passion and enthusiasm for travel is infectious. Her knowledge of the city is invaluable. Pair the two together and just try to keep that spirit of wanderlust and a zeal for learning active during a pandemic. Jane did just that, offering social media tours and, when it was safe, in-person experiences to residents and visitors alike. Tracy Daniel is the program manager for the Mississippi Judicial College and is the type of planner that knows her attendees and knows the exact details needed to ensure a flawless event each time. Tracy has recently booked 2 events for 2021 with an estimated economic impact of nearly $150,000 and participated in a 2-day meeting planner familiarization tour to better understand Jackson and the benefits of meeting here. Attorney Karshina L. Bailey of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated resided on the 2020 Mississippi State Cluster held at the Jackson Convention Complex. With more than 1,200 attendees, the estimated economic impact was more than $363,000. Barry Thomas of the International Council of Corvette Clubs served as the meeting planner for Jackson activities and the regional VP for the International Council of Corvette Clubs. The 2020 quarterly meeting held in Jackson produced an estimated economic impact of $71,520.
And unfortunately, 2020 brought us even fewer events, but there were a few event organizers that still found a way to make a difference. This year's recipients of the Hometown Hero Award in the category of Festival and Event Organizer are a concert promoter and a live music juggernaut in the city with soul. Arden Barnett of Ardenland has had his business hammered by COVID-19. With the closure of his live music venue, Dueling Hall, he still managed to be a positive force in fighting to save our stages through local and national advocacy. And despite a pandemic, Arden took extraordinary measures to offer safe and socially distanced events by year's end. The captain of concerts, the man, the myth, the legend. Congratulations, Arden Barnett. Eli Childers is a self-taught artist and sculptor who has the gift of turning emotion into visual art. His work touches on feelings that range from tragedy, suffering, and injustice to the beauty of love and peace that comes with new beginnings. You may have seen his work in multiple locations around Jackson, but today he's being recognized as an event organizer for his work in coordinating both the Art of Voting project and the Constant exhibit. The Art of Voting series featured 6 local artists. Each one designed a mural that was meant to encourage, remind, and celebrate the act of making your voice heard at the ballot box. Once completed, the murals were hung at various locations throughout the capital city. The constant exhibit was Eli's way of turning the tragic death of George Floyd into a visual reminder highlighting the truths about love, togetherness, and unity. Again, collaborating with other artists, Eli organized a collection of 18 life-sized wood protesters, each one taking on the individual artist's visual depiction of their own thoughts and feelings. Eli, we see you and we appreciate you. Until recently, a symbol of division greeted travelers to our state and city. For many years, that symbol, Mississippi's state flag, made for a bad first impression. Then last summer, a movement swept the nation, including here in Jackson. Leading the charge, demanding the change in Mississippi's state flag as their very first demand, Maisie Brown, the young organizer behind Black Lives Matter Mississippi, was a catalyst for progress, and now, through the efforts of many, Mississippi has a new state flag, a new and welcoming symbol of hospitality. We salute you, Maisie. The architects of the City of Jackson's new long-range planning division, Salam Rita and Travis Crabtree, took a love of urban design, public art, and community-based solutions to new levels. Since moving to Jackson 4 years ago from Detroit, Salam and Travis applied for funding, won it, and managed a multi-year $1 million grant for the Fertile Ground Project, focused on food scarcity. For their work on socially distanced events on Dueling Avenue to Ferris Street, to public murals, community gardens, and more, we say thank you to Salam Rita and Travis Crabtree.
That leads us to our Summit Awards. These awards are nominated by and then voted on by industry partners. Now, before you think there's a typo in this case, SUMITT stands for Superlative Merit in Travel and Tourism. When we speak of local attractions, it's obvious. Jackson is fortunate for a city its size to have so many standouts. The nominees for this year's Attraction of the Year took COVID-19 on the chin and have come through even stronger. The Mississippi Children's Museum offered virtual educational and entertainment options. The Mississippi Agriculture and Forestry Museum took the time while they were closed to spruce up and reimagine what their museum could be and come out better because of it. The Mississippi Museum of Art postponed their Van Gogh exhibition, but arranged to hold it over for even longer and brought in an outdoor sculptural exhibit, all while knocking it out of the park with COVID safety when visitors could return. The District at Eastover and Highland Village, destination retail and dining venues who harness the power of some fantastic spring, summer, and fall weather to activate their spaces for safe and socially distanced community fun. The Eudora Welty House and Garden, who, despite being closed to tours for part of the year, welcome visitors to Miss Eudora's gardens in bloom year-round. And the Mississippi Sports Hall of Fame and Museum, who, as soon as they were able, began taking in visitors to explore the stories of the greats who have made the state legendary in football, baseball, basketball, and more.
But our winner, by an overwhelming vote, offered online learning and special events, and later visits by appointment, all while being the most consistently #1 rated attraction in Jackson, and even gave our community free Sunday visits. For helping us take a hard look at our state's troubled history, to showing us a way forward for a brighter tomorrow. Our attraction of the year is the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum.
When it comes to events in 2020, we all know what a year it was, or wasn't. Sure, nominees like the Dixie National Rodeo got in an event before COVID-19. Giddy up, cowboy. Who doesn't love the rodeo? And even our winner, well, we'll get to them in a moment.
You say it was a down year for events, but nominees like the Watermelon Classic managed a virtual 5K race. The annual Sports Hall of Fame fundraiser was a tremendous success despite not being in person. The Mississippi Science Festival, well, they held a virtual event with days of online and in-person events that made everyone who participated feel like a kid again. And the Mississippi State Fair held last fall, counted attendees to limit crowds and sanitized rides. They even extended for an extra long weekend for more fair-going fun.
It was a busy year for events after all. But this event, after a cancellation a few years back and lower than expected participation in the next year, bounced back with a new course, new sponsor support, and continued television coverage from our local ABC affiliate, WAPT. I see this one running for a long time. Congratulations to the festival or event of the year, the Mississippi Blues Marathon. A good night's sleep is a coveted part of any out-of-town stay. But this year, our hotels, in this case our full-service hotels, went the extra mile to ensure a safer night's stay too, for travelers, even for locals. The nominees for Full-Service Hotel of the Year include the Fairview Inn, a beautifully appointed bed and breakfast in Belhaven, who is always atop this list for their elegant rooms, warm hospitality, and oh-so-indulgent amenities. The Hilton Jackson offers elegant accommodations, an array of fine and casual dining, including Dragos, Fitzgerald's, and Wellingtons, executive-level floors and boardrooms, 17 meeting rooms, and an award-winning staff dedicated to exceptional service. The Old Capitol Inn, with its New Orleans-style outdoor patio and serenity garden, gala ballroom, and the only rooftop bar of its kind in Jackson, the Old Capitol Inn is one of the city's premier locations to relax and enjoy the Jackson skyline, appetizers, delicious drinks, and the soothing acoustic sounds of local musicians. But this year's winner for Full Service Hotel, one of Jackson's newest right in the heart of downtown, brings a restful night's stay to meeting attendees at the Jackson Convention Complex. Within a short walk, they're the perfect place to lay your head if you're on a staycation or checking out the latest exhibitions at the Mississippi Museum of Art. Congratulations to our Full Service Hotel of the Year, the Westin Jackson.
When it comes to value, our limited service hotels offer just that, with all of the amenities that make your short or extended stays memorable. This year's nominees for Limited Service Hotel of the Year include the brand new Homewood Suites by Hilton Jackson, Fondren Medical District. Jackson's newest hotel and Fondren's first hotel opened in the middle of the pandemic. Hampton Inn and Suites, called clean, super quiet, and affordable in reviews from hotel guests, just steps from the Mississippi Fairgrounds. North Jackson's Courtyard by Marriott, a hotel one reviewer called a great place for meetings, not to mention their proximity to the food and shopping of the County Line Road corridor. But our winner, with so many amenities on property and just outside their front doors, like a food hall, retail shops, banking, and a walking trail, makes staying in Jackson a true pleasure. Congratulations to our Limited Service Hotel of the Year, the Residence Inn by Marriott at the District at Eastover.
This next category, Restaurant of the Year, it's always a tough one. Food is a city with soul calling card. After extensive U.S. travel over the years, I can attest we have the best right here in Jackson. The nominees for this year include a personal favorite, the Pig and Pint, competition-style Memphis in May award-winning barbecue in Fondren, who make curbside pickup and takeout look easy in 2020. Then there's Sugar's Place, Southern, soulful, home-cooked goodness. They remodeled their lobby to serve customers when they reopened during COVID-19. At Elvie's, one of Jackson's newest restaurants, opened just a month before the pandemic forced their shutdown, they bounced back quickly. Themed pop-up events gave diners a taste of Mexican, Jewish, and Italian foods before they settled back into their New Orleans-inspired fare. Brent's in Fondren installed a takeout window to make pickup easy. They offered curbside pickup too, making it so that those burgers and shakes still made it home to our home tables. At Babalu, recently remodeled and under new ownership, Latin-themed favorites are still on the menu. And that patio, we can't wait for warmer days to enjoy it again. Lou's Full Serve has become a darling of the Belhaven neighborhood, and rightfully so. That number 7 burger wows locals and travelers alike, and their farm-to-table take on locally sourced ingredients have us returning repeatedly. On County Line Road at the Hilton Jackson, Dragos is a perennial favorite in this category, And if you're into New Orleans seafood, you understand why. But this year's winner managed to reimagine and reinvent their popular brunch, all while offering holiday meal packages and socially distanced dining opportunities. And they hired a new executive chef, Jonathan Boyd, who is reimagining what their wine bar and bistro can be. We congratulate Estelle at the Westin Jackson as Restaurant of the Year.
As employees at Visit Jackson, we can't be everywhere at once when it comes to welcoming visitors to our city. That's where ambassadors like these next nominees come in. We call them Friends of Tourism, because that's exactly who they are: hospitable, friendly examples of Jacksonians who help light up the shining star that is the city with soul. There are people like the Honorable Delbert Hosemann, Lieutenant Governor of the state of Mississippi, who's been an advocate for changing the state flag and who helped to spur much-needed tourism recovery funding for destination marketing organizations like Visit Jackson this past year. Jordan Hillman, who we mentioned earlier as the City of Jackson's Planning and Development Director, a problem solver and waymaker who has been invaluable to navigating the hurdles of COVID-19. Photographer Stephen Little, who, on his own time and on his own dime, captures the beauty and majesty of Jackson through his drone photography, an invaluable resource for showing visitors and locals who we are. John Tier, a Visit Jackson board member and owner of Johnny T's Bistro and Blues on Farish Street, who is a neighborhood cheerleader and a welcoming beacon for travelers who come from everywhere to experience the food and the soulful hospitality of his restaurant and lounge. More than a tourist, Jane Halbert-Jones, whose local tours via social media and in person always help to highlight the history and future of the city. And singer Pam Comfer, whose empowerment anthem Stand was a soul-stirring, ground-shaking song in June of 2020, at the moment where visitors and locals alike needed to see a forward-moving Mississippi. In every case, the efforts of these Friends of Tourism span a wide spectrum in the ways they help us to best showcase what we have to offer in Jackson.
But there can only be one winner, and she is Rachel Jarman Myers. Rachel has been in leadership at the two Mississippi museums since day one. Her expansive knowledge and enthusiasm as a museum professional rub off on everyone she encounters. During COVID-19, Rachel worked to facilitate virtual field trips for students across the state and helped to plan forward the two museums' direction post-pandemic. It is her belief that museums are, quote, a place to linger, learn, and interact with a diverse audience, and that is now more important than ever to our society. Congratulations again to our Friend of Tourism, two Mississippi Museums Deputy Director, Rachel Myers.
Our next two award categories are a little different. They are nominated and decided upon by the Visit Jackson executive team. Recipients of the Shining Example Award are role models representing the essence of quality tourism service and the epitome of Jackson hospitality. Our first Shining Example Award goes to Cathead Distillery. During 2020 and amid the COVID-19 crisis, Cathead Distillery owners Austin Evans and Richard Patrick halted their typical day-to-day operations and focused on their community's immediate needs. By partnering with city officials, they provided hand sanitizer to Jacksonians at multiple locations throughout the metro area. They showed up with barrels of hand sanitizer to fill the empty bottles people brought with them to the designated fill-up stations. When all the shelves were bare at our grocery stores, pharmacies, and big box stores, they began to bottle their product and distribute it that way.
When schools were shuttered due to COVID-19, the Mississippi Children's Museum, a haven for families from across Jackson and beyond, scrambled to find a way to continue to offer enriching and magical moments. As fall kicked in, parents were determining how they might go back to work, all while virtual school was still the rule. In Jackson, working with Jackson Public School District, the museum became a classroom, providing dozens of students in preschool through 6th grade an active and engaged, age-appropriate classroom setting with teachers to bridge the gap until schools returned after the holidays.
Fine and Dandy, along with their sister restaurant, Sophomore Spanish Club, became a grocery store when in-house dining wasn't possible. They kept employees on the payroll and served the needs of the community with everyday staples and family meal packs. And by fall, they were back on track, reinventing and renewing their menu and our interest in claiming them in our regular rotations. We salute the team at Fine and Dandy and Sophomore Spanish Club as a 2020 shining example.
And now we're pleased to present our highest industry achievement, the Tourism Visionary Award. These awards recognize industry partners who navigate new standards of involvement and cooperation to develop Jackson's tourism future. This past year has been one of the most challenging years in our industry's history. And from all the forecasts from local and national economists, the first 2 quarters of 2021 will also be difficult. But there were bright spots worthy of being lauded this past year. Our first set of visionaries represents some of the hardest working public servants in the state of Mississippi. 122 members at one end, 52 on the other, both working in one of Mississippi's most beautiful buildings. There have been intense and emotional discussions within this body regarding our state flag for the past 30-plus years. But in early 2020, these discussions were compounded by sanctions from conferences and meetings, leisure travel, social movements, and sporting organizations. No matter where you stood on the issue, no one could argue that our state economy was being impacted, affecting our ability to attract economic and tourism development. On June 28, 2020, the Mississippi legislature passed a bill to repeal sanctions of the State of Mississippi Code, granting the Mississippi Department of Archives and History permission to initiate a new flag design process. That resulted in the design and affirming vote of 73% of Mississippians to select and embrace a new Mississippi state flag, the In God We Trust flag, signed into law in early January of 2021. For your unwavering leadership, tenacity, and dedication to the growth of Mississippi tourism and the Jackson tourism industry, we are proud to present our first Visionary Award winner, the Mississippi House of Representatives and Mississippi State Senate. We want to especially thank Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Philip Gunn, the Honorable Representative Becky Curry, House Tourism Committee Chair, and the Honorable Representative Deborah Gibbs, House Tourism Committee Vice Chair. It's notable to mention that Speaker Gunn and Tourism Vice Chair Gibbs are both members of the Hinds County Legislative Delegation. We also thank the Lieutenant Governor, the Honorable Delbert Hoseman, the Honorable Senator Lydia Graves Chassenal, Senate Tourism Committee Chair, and the Honorable Senator John Horn, Senate Tourism Committee Vice Chair, a member of the Hinds County Legislative Delegation. Thank you and congratulations.
Our next 2020 Tourism Visionary Award recipients have been hard at work since March of 2020. Our city's leadership immediately determined that industry, commerce, educational institutions, municipal policy, and trained medical and public health professionals would be needed to navigate the coronavirus global pandemic successfully at the local level. The city's proactive actions, alongside these dedicated professionals, have been recognized and applauded both by Dr. Thomas Dobbs, our Mississippi State Health Officer, and the New York Times. On May 12, 2020, Jackson Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumumba said, quote, "We felt it extremely important to develop a team of experts to set a plan in place for how we respond to this public health issue. This team has advised the mayor and provided resources impacting his executive order policy that has mitigated the spread of COVID-19 in the city of Jackson. And while the politics of COVID has not always been agreed upon, the statistical data regarding results related to these sometimes aggressive actions and mandates, that was a result embraced by everyone. To the COVID-19 Task Force, for your bullish leadership, and Mayor Chokwe Antar Lumumba, you collectively are a 2020 Tourism Visionary Award recipient. Thank you for joining us today. If you happen to see any of these winners out and about, give them a friendly elbow bump. They deserve it. And if you are one of our winners, congratulations. We appreciate you and all that you do to promote the City with Soul. And to keep things safe, we'll be mailing you your award along with a little Jackson swag.
And if you're interested in nominating a hometown hero for next year, well, it's never too early to start making your list. Thank you so much for joining us in the JXN Welcome Center. Make sure you stop by and see us Monday through Friday, 10 until 2, or if you just can't wait on your Jackson merch, head to visitjackson.com. So long, everybody.